is October 11th, 1988 for you, Scott Macallan. And after you part ways with Eddie in the next town over after having a drink with him and after giving Dr. Kimball's contact information to Eddie, you drive to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, dead tired. It's been a long, long day, and you pull up to, I'm just going to say, a Holiday Inn, and you get yourself a room, and you check in, and finally, you have a moment to yourself, a moment of quiet, as you toss all your gear onto the floor, or in a corner, it doesn't matter, and you just drop into the bed, fully clothed, don't even pull the covers down, and...
One thing before I flop on the bed, is there a television in this room?
Of course.
I unplug it.
Understandable. Yeah, you unplug it, and you then collapse with exhaustion onto the bed, staring up at the ceiling. What's going through Scott's mind right now?
More than anything else, it's the thought of how that could have all ended up. When he shuts his eyes, he sees Vince there, standing, fixed in place, burning, and realizes that could very well have been all of them. And if that had been the case, no one would ever know. They'd just be 5 more people, including the kid, stuck in that insane place, and who knows how far it would have gone until something else happened. And he's thinking too, if it hadn't been for him, they would have all been stuck there. If that dumb animal Eddie and that walking liability Rufus had just stuck to his plan, had just followed his directions, how easy they could have gotten out of there. Oh, Vince might even still be alive if they had just shut up and listened to him. And he thinks too, that's for so much of his life, he thinks back to when he was a younger man, dreaming of revolution, when all the others were just so busy caught up in their own personal squabbles, too stupid and too blind and too comfortable to do anything. If he had just been the leader then, they could have done so much. And he probably drifts off with that kind of ball of anger just in his chest. And it doesn't get looser, it just keeps tightening and tightening, even as he just fully passes out from exhaustion.
And you sleep. I mean, it was 12:30 when you got into town, so by the time you wake up, it's the afternoon. It's about 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. But before we continue, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping and make some clarifications, so that way it is known to not just us, but to our listeners going forward. So, during Operation Ephemeral Garlic, Scott Macallan gained 2 disorders. Those disorders are intermittent explosive disorder and megalomania. However, after some discussion between Jan and myself, we both came to the conclusion that, as written, we weren't really big on how they are presented. So we basically retooled megalomania to be that Scott now suffers a permanent -10 penalty to any charisma or persuade rolls. And if he loses 2 or more sanity, that penalty increases to -25% during an acute episode until that episode ends. And for intermittent explosive disorder, if Scott goes temporarily insane, he'll need to roll a PAL ×5 roll. On a failure, he has no choice but to fly into a violent rage. And on a success, he's a little bit more in control of his faculties. So that is essentially how we're going to handle that going forward. And that ties in very nicely because of those final thoughts that Scott just had before drifting off to bed. But when you do wake up, you realize that you never called Elena back. You had left a message, but you had never heard from her or gotten in contact with her.
And he realizes too that he had left his contact for the bed and breakfast, so if she had tried to call him at any point...
Is Scott going to call her or not yet?
Not yet. He needs time to think. He, kind of looking around the room, he just rubs his face with his hands, goes to the bathroom, starts running the sink, and probably also Just kind of looking at how much of a mess he is, decides he's gonna get a shower at least before he does anything else. Realizing he was sleeping in his clothes and wearing the same clothes he'd been wearing throughout that whole ordeal. He probably smells pretty ripe.
That's fair. Yeah, no, you unpeel your clothes off of you, and you take a shower, and you let the water run down your body, resting your head against the tiled wall, and you just keep thinking to yourself, they should have listened to me. Vince would be alive if they had fucking listened to me. Why didn't they fucking listen to me? Eventually, you get out of the shower, you freshen up, you go into town and get some dinner for yourself. It's a nice little diner.
It's always a diner.
It's always a diner. What would Scott get?
This time around, probably starving. Hasn't eaten anything, over the past day or so. Except for his pocket fries, which are sadly long cold and probably abandoned to the void.
Yeah, that was an unusual thing when you took your pants off before getting in the shower. You felt the presence of something in your pocket, and then you realized, for whatever reason, in your mad state back in Summit Heights, you had grabbed a handful of fries and shoved them in your pocket, and this whole time, they'd been there. And to a degree, they had most of it was mush, given the intense movement that happened. You think maybe when that hand grabbed you, that weird elbow upon elbow hand monstrosity thing, that when it grabbed you, it just smushed the fries in your pocket. It's a weird, strange, bitter reminder of everything that you had just gone through. But what does he get to eat at this diner?
He's probably gonna get a steak, a nice, juicy steak, cooked rare.
Anything on the side?
Get some more fries. Not gonna put them in his pocket this time. Hopefully not. Hopefully he'll have time to actually enjoy these.
Yeah, no, that's fair. For what it's worth, not a bad steak, Fries are crisped to perfection. Do you get like a beer or a soda or something, or water, coffee?
Yeah, probably first thing is asking if we got beer.
And they do.
Okay. Yeah, definitely knocks back like 3 or 4 just as he's, eating his steak. Although he ends up, leaving one untouched on the table.
Give me a con roll.
Con times 5, you got it.
Yeah, see if you can hold your alcohol.
Really, a 74 out of 55. Although, to be fair, he's like, I'm just going to have 1. I'm going to have 2. I'm going to have 3. And probably it's around number 6 that he's starting to feel it.
Yeah. At that point, you realize you should probably stop, because you have a rental car, and it's not your car. And you don't want to owe more money if you crash that car. Some part of your brain realizes that. You're not, like, shit-faced, but, like, you're tipsy.
I would not want to have to do a, field sobriety test if I got pulled over.
You finish up eating and drinking probably a little bit more than you should, but it's understandable given the previous day's events. You leave the diner. You don't stumble, but I mean, you're definitely feeling it when you stand up. And you realize you should probably walk it off for at least a little bit.
A stroll around the block.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do that.
Yeah, fresh, cool, Pennsylvania fall air.
Yeah. So you're walking down the sidewalk, and you round a corner, and the first building, you see, it's a storefront, right? Big glass pane windows. At this point, it's closed, but in the window are a bunch of televisions that are on playing different programs. Give me an alertness roll.
God damn it, Max. This is gonna be fun. Success 55 under 65 crit.
You can't help but hone in on the fact that amongst the various programs that are running on these different program TVs that are tuned to different channels, you look at one in particular and you see Vince banging on the screen. Looks like he's screaming for help. You can't hear anything, but it's definitely Vince. Give me a sanity roll, please.
Oh boy. Success 30 under 42.
You lose nothing. This alcohol's definitely affecting you more than you thought. And you quickly move past the storefront. And as you get further down the block, you're definitely a little bit more sobered up now. And you round another corner, basically making a square, back in the direction vaguely where the diner is. And by the time you get back to your car, you head back to the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. Now that with some food in me and some, and feeling a little bit warmer, now he's gonna make a call from the hotel room.
Who's he gonna call?
He's gonna call Raja first.
Okay.
He understands something that, he understands what he's got to do now. He also understands that's not what he told the others. So he has enough wherewithal to know that it's common courtesy. If you're gonna change up the plans and stay a little bit longer than you said, you might want to give someone a ring.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna say now that at this point it's about like 7:30 in the evening, so back west it would be about 5:30. The day would just be ending.
Yeah, at this point, probably call the library, knowing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you call from memory, you call the library, the Red River Public Library, and
Connect, through three different operators.
yeah, the gruff older voice of Roger answers and says,
Red River Public Library, unfortunately, we're closed.
Oh, you're gonna close on me, old man?
Scott,
I thought we were friends.
where are you, how you been? You're coming back to work, right?
I'll be there, Roger, but it's gonna be a few more days. I got something I gotta take care of here. Things have changed. Not necessarily for the better, but they've changed, and I gotta do something about it.
Scott, you understand that tourist season is about to start, right? In a couple months.
Yeah, I do. They're gonna get the same bullshit books they always check out. These stupid fucking people, Roger. You know how they are. They don't care about reading. They're just there. They want some.
There's no need to be that way.
No, Roger. I think I do need to be this way because I am sick and tired of people thinking that I'm just here as a glorified secretary who can do Dewey Decimal. You know what the PhD behind my name means, Roger? It means I'm a goddamn professional. It means I deserve better than all the shit I've had to climb through.
you hear Roger sigh, and he says,
Look, I know you've always been an arrogant son of a bitch. That much I've known. But I've managed to look past that because I know that when you needed it most, you needed a helping hand. I've given you my home. I've allowed you to stay there. I've allowed you to work for me. Look, is this about getting back to your old job?
Oh no, I'm not going back to Berkeley, Roger. I'm not going back to that place. No, I'm doing one better. I'm going Miskatonic. I am gonna go to Miskatonic.
Oh, your alma mater.
Ivy League, Roger.
So what, you're not coming back for a couple more days? Trying to get things lined up?
That's right.
Okay. Well, Elena's gonna be disappointed. Have you spoken with her? You should really speak with her. She misses having you around the workplace, I mean.
Now here's a question, just over the phone, can I tell if he's just being coy or if he actually doesn't know?
as far as you can tell, he doesn't know.
Okay.
Or if he knows, he's just not letting on. Letting two adults be two adults. And so long as it hasn't become a problem interfering with work, which it hasn't, but you, right now, in your current circumstances, you're definitely interfering with work. So...
Listen, a little bit more notice next time. You said a few days, and now what? Are you talking like a week? Week and a half? What's it looking like?
Let's call it a week. I will be back, I promise you that.
Shit.
And I'll let you know as soon as I'm back on a flight out west.
Okay. Damn it, kid, I really wish you would have told me this sooner.
Yeah.
Here's a little piece of advice from an old man who's lived a good amount of life. Knock off the attitude if you're trying to get back in. It doesn't help anybody. Least of all yourself.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I guess either you will or I will, but Elena's not going to be happy of being shorthanded again, and
She's still there, Roger, or is she gone home?
she's gone.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, was that all?
Yeah. That's all.
Alright, I guess I'll see you in a week then.
I'll be there.
You better, or you're not going to have a job when you get back. You can't keep running
Yeah, we'll see
around
about
like you
that.
have the past few months, and just take care of yourself, okay? Like, I'll be happy if you can get back to Miskatonic. I know you've talked about getting back into higher education. I understand. I understand that what we do isn't glamorous or glorious in any way, but we're still doing a
Yeah, well, we'll see if Reagan doesn't roll back funding for that, just like he did for public mental health.
Yeah, that fucking bastard is what he is.
I guess you and I can agree on that. I'm just gonna say one thing, Roger. It's been bad for a while now. Not just here, but everywhere.
I know it's bad everywhere,
Yeah.
kid.
Got a
I
lot
know
of people-
it's bad. I'm not blind to that. You might think I'm an old man, but I see things. Now, I gotta get finished up here. All right, I gotta get. Knowing you aren't coming back, God damn it, Scott.
And then he hangs up the phone.
Cool.
That's to reflect your drop in bond with Roger. So,
Down to 3. Which, yeah.
that seems
Talk about yeah.
like a conversation that would be had with a Bond who's at 3, you know. So now what?
I didn't cuss him out directly, but
No, but he cussed you out.
I was gonna say I got close.
Yeah.
Close. So next step, taking a drive north. He's gonna need probably at least another night of sleep.
So you're not going to call Elena.
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna call Elena like now.
Okay. So, but the impetus is you're settling in for the night.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's still October 11th, you know, and you have the room until tomorrow because you plan to drive all the way up to Arkham.
Yeah, and he does take a moment to kind of like steady himself because he after he hung up with Roger, he realized like his heart is like he can feel his pulse pounding in his neck.
And you probably were slurring your words a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you sit on the bed with a little bit of amount of trepidation, steadying your mind and your body to an extent. Your heart's racing at this point, having just made your boss unhappy. And then you call Elena.
Dialing her home phone and praying to God it's not her dad who picks up.
Let's find out.
Get those dice.
So yeah, it's a few rings, and a hoarse male voice over the
Fuck.
phone says,
Hello?
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Collins. It's Scott Macallan.
Who?
It's I'm a friend of Elena's. Is she in?
My daughter Elena.
you hear him like, it's obviously moves the phone away, and
Elena! Elena, it's for you! Someone named Scott?
and then you can faintly hear, like, even fainter than that,
Okay.
there's a bit of shuffling of the phone as you can hear Trevor, her father, just mumbling incomprehensibly to himself, and you can hear Elena say,
I got it, Daddy, I got it. It's okay, you can hang up now. Okay.
and then there's a click, and then Elena will say,
Hey, I heard you. Roger told me you called yesterday. I know you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I couldn't get back to you. I was busy and we were busy.
No, that's fine, and I'm sorry to have left you in that lurch like that, but
Are you coming home?
that's the thing is I'm gonna be a little bit longer up here. It's things didn't go according to plan, and I need a little more time. Is all.
What do you mean things didn't go according to plan, Scott? What does that mean?
Yeah, I just ran into some old faces that I was not expecting to see again, and ended up I'm probably not going to see one of them ever again. Just things. It's ancient history, Elena. It's nothing to worry about. But
Okay, are
I
you
am gonna be-
Are you okay? You don't sound okay. Have you been drinking?
a little bit, I guess. Maybe it's hitting me a little bit harder than I thought. But
No, babe, are you okay? Really?
no, I'm not.
I know you well enough to know that you'll come around on your own time. So I won't press right now. I hope you're okay, and I hope you're being safe. Is all. I miss you.
I miss you too. God, I miss you so bad. You know, it's been through everything, even thinking about that dream, that of me walking through those doors of Miskatonic again. The biggest thing I've been thinking about is just coming back and seeing you again.
So you're not coming back tonight or tomorrow?
No,
How long?
no, not tomorrow. It's gonna be a week, at least. I'm sure Roger will give you the full of it tomorrow.
Yeah, he's perpetually cranky, man.
Well,
You
you don't
did-
live
you
to be
did talk to
90 something
him,
without
right?
having a little bit of piss. Yeah, we talked. Yeah. He knows.
That's very brave of you to do that, to just change up when you be coming back on him. I imagine he wasn't very happy.
No, he wasn't. But then, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna fly out here to kick my ass personally? I'd like to see him try.
Now, don't get ahead of yourself. If this doesn't pan out for you, you still need this job.
No, this will pan out.
Okay?
I'm telling you that right now. And when I get back and we can talk in person, we can see each other face to face, we do need to talk about what that means. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, I understand. I get it. Well, so long as you're safe and so long as you are taking care of yourself, for me, please, then you know I will support whatever decision that you want to make.
Thank you.
Alright?
One more thing, Elena. Your father, how's he been? He sounded a little more out of it than usual.
Yeah, his episodes have been getting a little bit worse lately, you know. It's the Alzheimer's doing what it does.
Christ, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You've been a big help when you've been able to be around, and there's moments where he remembers who you are.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, back when I was still undergrad at Temple, I was a major fan of his work, his Anthropology of the Southwest. Not normally my field, but it was compelling stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that, you know, he's pretty much lived in the Southwest all his life, you know. He, Western Texas, Arizona, Southern California, and finally just settling in New Mexico, you know. He loves this area of the country. I do too. Listen, I know you've got a lot on your mind. I thank you for calling me.
Of course, I'm sorry I didn't call sooner.
No, it's okay. You were busy. I completely understand. Just hurry back, okay?
All right.
And you can kind of hear in the background a little bit hoarsely.
Elena!
And she's like,
I gotta go, babe. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah, go do what you need to.
All right, get back to
I love you, all right?
I love you too. Now get back to me, all right?
I will.
she hangs up the phone. So what we'll do now, we're going to say that belly full of alcohol and food and your mind full of various different racing thoughts. Scott, you actually properly settle into sleep. And sleep comes pretty quickly. And how early would he wake up?
Scott's an early riser. He probably gets, he normally gets up around 6. Knowing he has a long drive up to Massachusetts, he'd probably get up around 4:35.
Okay. So we're going to say you get up at 5 and you pack all your clothes up from the previous day. It's now October 12th. Check to make sure everything is secure. You take one long look at your 357 and you put it with your things before you leave the hotel room.
I'd probably still keep it in my holster. At this point, Scott is running off basically where his mind probably will remain for a very long time is he nearly got devoured by some sort of electrostatic monster in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Pennsylvania. These things can be anywhere, and they can strike at any time.
No, that's fair.
And if anyone is going to deal with them, he will be the one to deal with them because he knows what's up.
No, that's fine. You study the revolver, and then you put it in your holster, and fully checking that your things are in order and your clothes have been packed up, you head down to the lobby, grab some continental breakfast, some sausage, some eggs, some bacon, a cup of coffee, maybe 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah, heavy protein, heavy coffee.
Yeah, and there's some little disposable cups with lids, so you get a 4th cup for yourself. You go to the bathroom. You relieve yourself before you set out for Arkham, Massachusetts. It's roughly a 6.5-hour drive from Pennsylvania up to Massachusetts, and you drive through New Jersey, you drive through New York, Connecticut and nearly all the way across the middle of Massachusetts to the northeast corner. And how long has it been since Scott left Arkham and left Miskatonic University?
Man. Yeah, so that would probably be pushing 6 years at the very minimum. No, more like 5. More like 5, because he's 36 years old now. And yeah, it'd be just under 5, because he completed his doctorate when he was 31.
Okay, so it's been a little bit less than 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Correct.
Because then you went to Berkeley for a few, and then you ended up in Red River. Okay, so Arkham is still that sleepy, quaint river town that you remember it being all those 5 years ago at this point. Some places never change. Like, there's no skyscrapers. The only tallest buildings belong to Miskatonic University itself at the center. And you recall, with some mixed emotions, your time here, you know. Certain memories are more fond than others, some less so. You remember taking long walks down by the riverfront on the northern side of Arkham. It's strange how this could be like home to you. But is it out of necessity or out of an actual desire to be here? Or is it both?
Breathing in that cold Massachusetts air. There's always a little bit of salt on it, you know. We're not on the coast, but we're close enough that the sea breeze blows in, salty and raw.
Yeah.
And thinking back to it, yeah, more than anything else, this is where he needs to be.
So, as you're coming in from the south side of Arkham, driving through the streets, some of the side streets, like, the streets are modern and paved, but there's some side streets that still have cobblestone on them to kind of call back to its colonial history. The lights are done in a style to look like gas lamps, but they're modern, obviously, with light bulbs in them, and they're off at this point. It's early morning at this point. It's about, well, actually the late morning. It's about 11 when you get into Arkham. It's around lunchtime. And you're driving towards the center of the town to Miskatonic University, to the parking, to then walk to Orrin Library, because you called Zebulon Forrester 2 days ago and had to leave a message. But now that you're actually here, let me ask, does Scott have history with Mr. Forrester?
So Dr. Forrester was probably either an assistant or an associate librarian during his own PhD, but knowing now that he is the chief librarian, you know, they probably worked together in the past. You know, not necessarily as close colleagues, but Scott, being a PhD student, would have spent a lot of time at Orrin, you know, checking out the archives, checking out different bits of basically, you know, walking away with like whole carts load of material for any given.
Okay, so you walk into Orrin Library, one place that hasn't really changed on the interior. The exterior may have changed for all these buildings, but it's the old charm of the interiors of these buildings that really just sells it further to you that this is where you belong. What do? Are you going to go about this in a proper way, like asking to see Mr. Forrester, or are you just going to go to his office where you know it is?
Ooh, that's a great question.
How big is Scott's ego?
It's pretty big.
Do you want to maybe make a roll?
So
to determine?
let's see here. Yeah, I was gonna say willpower.
Let's make it a
check.
PAL
His
times
self-
5 roll. Yeah.
Now, I'd say probably at this point, let's start applying that penalty for the megalomania.
Oh,
he
yes.
has
Well, no, make a PAL times 5 roll first.
this flat. All right.
Make the decision.
Failure 76 over 60.
Yeah, you can't control yourself. You know where Zebulon Forrester's office is. And
Yep.
you start heading in that direction. It's an open library. Anybody can come and go as they please, but you wind your way through the shelves towards like the back of where the library would be, the staffing area, if you will. Basically walking in like you belong here, which in some part of your mind you do belong here. Nobody gives you a second look as you are walking down the hall to Zebulon Forrester's office.
I'm a fairly clean-cut guy. You know, I look like an academic. I
You
fit
do.
in here. I belong. Moreover, I belong here.
That's what you keep telling yourself. The door's closed currently.
I'll knock. I won't pound on it, but I will knock. Give it a fairly solid knock. Dr. Forrester, Zeb, you in there?
Yeah, as you knock on this big oak door and the name tag on it says Zebulon Forrester, Chief Librarian. And I'm not going to try a Boston accent, but another heavier Boston accent on the other side of the door, muffled, replies back, who is that?
My name's Dr. Scott Macallan. I'm here to see you. I left you a message a couple days ago.
Oh yeah. Come in.
Yeah, Scott will open the door and let himself in.
Yeah, it's a nicely furnished room. Nice big desk. A lot of books, as to be expected. A lot of pictures of various figures in academia. A politician or two.
Kind of taking in the space, which I don't even think Scott's really trying to hide it. He is looking like, yeah, this would look pretty good for me.
It would. You would look pretty good sitting behind that desk. Hell, this could be your desk one day. You think briefly.
Yeah. Won't say that out loud.
No. So, Dr. Forrester, he's got a shock of this curly white hair. It's kind of like an afro, but like kind of not, like Einstein style of hair.
Right.
Coke bottle glasses. Definitely wears clothes that are probably a little too big for him. He's got his pants cinched up like probably a little bit higher than would be needed. Definitely a man who just dresses to dress, like he doesn't dress to impress anybody. He's just dressing for what in his mind would be his own comfort. He looks up at you. You remember him being a shorter guy, but carrying all the weight and might of what the head librarian of the Orne Library would have. And he looks up at you and says, Scott Macallan. 1 second. Prehistoric shamanic artifacts in Russian epic oral poetry. Bellini. I remember. That was a very insightful, interesting thesis. How have you been?
Wish I could say I've been well, but that'd be a lie. It's been a rough few years since I left these halls.
How so? And he stands up, and this man is about 5'7". He's a small guy.
Yeah, so Scott does have some inches on him.
Yes.
Scott at this point, he's not trying to loom, like he's not looming, but at the same time he's also not trying to make himself, more on a level either. He's just letting himself be there.
Yeah, he walks over and he extends a hand to you to shake.
I shake it.
It's a firm grip for a smaller, older man.
I mean, dude has to carry these big-ass leather-bound books every day, so I'd expect he has some strength to him.
A little bit, yeah.
I'd like to roll a human. Was that a genuine question, or does he know? How far has word traveled about what happened at Berkeley?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a human.
37 under 65 success.
So, as he approaches you and he's looking you in the eye and you're looking him in the eye, he's curious. But there's nothing to indicate that he knows of what happened at Berkeley. It's either that or he's not revealing it.
Scott will take a quick minute to get his story straight. And after I graduated here, there was some interest expressed by the European History Department at Berkeley, specifically regarding my work with older Russian texts. Unfortunately, there was a disagreement between myself and the administration, and I was forced to remove myself from that institution. Since then, I've been working in a position I'm grossly overqualified for.
He raises an eyebrow at that. Just one bushy eyebrow.
I won't volunteer what exactly that is, either. So far, Scott wants to gauge this man before he starts getting into the nitty-gritty.
He's studying you with great interest now, is what you can see. He doesn't say anything. He's letting you talk.
But all this time, I have never once left behind my academic ambitions. I've never abandoned the course of higher learning. I've always pursued knowledge. And I think, more than anything else, with years between now and then, I think now me coming back to Miskatonic would be of great benefit to not only myself, but to the institution.
He nods with understanding. He says, how much of a disagreement are we talking about?
Gonna need to I'll check myself again to see if I can keep back how angry this bitter memory makes me.
Okay. Yeah, give me a power times 5 roll. Let's hope you succeed.
Failure, 62 under 60.
Thinking about it makes you angry.
Uh-huh.
But realizing the position you're in, you do restrain your tone a little bit, but you aren't going to mince words.
It was physical, is what it was. Because they besmirched my work, what I was doing. They thought I was just going off my gourd, but I was working with something that nobody else could handle. Only I had the wherewithal to deal with it, and because of that, they decided that I was of no further use to them, and I will admit it, I lashed out.
Give me a persuade roll.
Oh fuck, at the -10?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I thought. Shit. Here we go.
The first of a few persuade rolls.
The first of a few. Here we go. Failure, 95 over 34.
Well, you can check it now.
Yeah, not a crit, but yikes.
So, Dr. Forrester cocks his eyebrow again, and he says, well, please, take a seat. I do want to hear more. And I will admit, it's not a good position to be in to ever have to think that you need to lash out with your fist, as you seem to be implying. Our ways with words. If we can't win the verbal debate, then how are we any better than just the animals in the animal kingdom? But I am interested. I do want to hear what you have to say. So please. And he gestures and he goes back around to his side of the desk and he sits down.
Yeah. I'll pull up a chair, and he probably can't see it from behind his desk, but this guy's just white knuckling his fist in his hands. You know, he can feel his heart rate climbing. He's maybe even starting to sweat a little bit.
He sits down and he says, the source of the disagreement. What was it over? What was the text called?
It was the Bejmanaya Kaniga. Are you familiar with that, Dr. Forrester?
Ooh, let me make a luck roll for him. You see him thinking, like he taps, like he puts his, like how I am right now with his hand like on his cheek, and he's got one finger extended and he's tapping it, and he's thinking, and he's like, isn't that some old Slavonic work? I feel like I've heard of that before. Heretical work.
Yeah, this actually is calming him down a little bit, finally being able to talk shop with someone who understands.
Didn't that talk about, if I recall correctly, I feel like I remember talking about, isn't that just a bastard translation of a translation?
You're not wrong, but there's more to it. Yeah, it's a fragmentary text. Church Slavonic got a bit of Haida too, which I didn't work with personally. I don't deal with, indigenous languages of the North Coast, but
Okay.
yeah, fragmentary rendition of an older Gothic text, the Dalth Namyan's Book.
Dr. Forrester says, yeah, so what was your take on it, and why was there a disagreement, if you care to elaborate? What made you so passionate to defend this that you got physical with another academic?
So they were convinced that the Dalth Namyan's Book was the end of it, that this was simply a Slavonic translation of a single text, but it goes back further than that. There's an older text in it, going back farther, and I'm sure that this text, this Or text, is a copy of the Al-Azif.
His eyes go wide at that.
A copy of which I know is here at Orn.
I don't know where you would know that
Now imagine-
information, Dr. Macallan, but I can assure you that we do not have such a text here at this present time.
Human check, because
Absolutely.
yeah, success 64 under 65. Wow.
I mean, he's not going to outright confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
You've been away for so long. Why would he tell someone who, in his mind, is an outsider this information? I mean, there's more than he's letting on, but you got to just take him at his word.
Sure. Scott nods like, oh, that's funny. I remember 6 years ago there was some talk of it being kept under lock and key after some unfortunate incidents back in the 1930s. You know, talk about maybe moving it to a more secure off-site location.
Uh-huh.
But, be that as it may, I would still keep it in Orn's possession, would it not?
Theoretically speaking.
Yeah, of course, this is all hypothetical. Now, another hypothetical. Imagine Imagine the prestige for Miskatonic University if someone on staff was able to successfully link that philology, showing the extent of Al-Azif throughout the world. You understand, we know of the few copies here and there, all fragmentary, of course. The Dalvnaminon's book by the Goths, the Greek translation, the so-called Necronomicon, even that John Dee translation into English, but never Slavonic. How far east did this go? And that Haida, I'd have to get some collaboration on it, but
Haida. Oh, very interesting.
it's all marginalia, but in the hands of Russian missionaries in Alaska. Must have passed through the hands of a few of the indigenous peoples there. Could you imagine an indigenous rendition of the Al-Azif? Of course, by this point, it'd be a copy of a copy of a copy.
I want you to give me a persuade roll, but at plus 10. This is the equivalent of a plus 20, but I'm factoring in your negative.
Right. Okay.
So it'd really just be a plus 10.
Please, 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 please. Success, 9 under 54.
You can see the expression on his face just light up, and he smiles a little bit, and he says, "That would be fascinating, though, wouldn't it?"
Wouldn't it, though?
Might I ask, is it still at Berkeley?
Yes, it's still in Berkeley. God thinks, flashes through his memory of ripping out pages of vellum and shoving them down his throat.
Of course, you're also lying right now because you know that the group has that text.
Right.
And it's the only real reason through their contacts that you even have your current job at Red River Public Library right now.
But unfortunately, there was some recent damage to it, so they aren't giving out an interlibrary loan.
It's a real shame, he says, and he's stroking his chin.
Now, I do have ways of possibly getting my hands back on it,
Okay.
if it should come to that. Now, I won't be able to give you confirmation of that just at this moment, but that's the only thing I'll ask you to take me on my word at.
Such a text would be invaluable to Miskatonic's archives. Theoretically speaking, if they were to exist, he says, with a playful smile kind of creeping across his face.
And I understand, too, that, you're not the sole man of hiring and firing around here. I would obviously have to
No,
get
I'm
with,
not. You would still have to talk to HR.
speak to the dean, of course, but...
Yeah. If I were to go digging any further with regards to you, Dr. Macallan, will I like what I find?
That depends on how deep you dig.
It does depend, doesn't it?
You and I, we understand how academia is. We all have our ugly history, our shared skeletons in the closet. But unlike the outside world, we at least know how to learn from our mistakes and to use our failures for the benefit of posterity.
That is absolutely correct. And again, if we can't use our words to accurately debate, to accurately describe our points of view, and we resort to petty violence, again, are we any better than the animals in the animal kingdom? Something to think about, Dr. Macallan.
Yeah.
You mentioned things have been difficult the last couple of years, and I understand that, given the state of affairs in our great country and never knowing if a nuclear missile is going to be flying over our heads at any moment.
Indeed. But it reminds me of Dante. Consider your origins. You are not made to live as brutes, but to follow virtue and knowledge.
Dr. Forrester smiles at the quoting of Dante and says, tell you what, how long are you going to be in town for? How long are you going to be around for?
Well, I already told my home base that I'm going to be at least a week.
Okay. Do you have a formal resume?
I can get one typed up.
Yes.
I assure you that all my background checks will check out.
It just so happens that we are short a professor at the moment.
That right?
It is. It's very hard to find anybody with the knowledge that we have. Dr. Forrester stands up. You take the sign to stand up. Well, your approach was unconventional, to say the least. But get something worked up, submit it to Human Resources. I'll put in a word, but they have to do their own thing, as I'm sure you understand. He comes over, he shakes your hand, he says, well, and he reaches into his breast pocket and he says, here's my card. You should probably grab a card for HR on your way out as well.
I will. Thank you, Doctor.
Hopefully good things come back from what they find.
I believe they will.
It was a pleasure to see you again, Dr. Macallan, and he shakes your hand again.
Yep.
You leave the Orne Library, you head over to the main administration building, and, you get a card with a phone number for the HR department. You get a place in town. You get a resume going, a formal, actual resume, and you submit that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the next week, you spend time in Arkham and the surrounding areas. You check it out.
Town's changed. The old gabled buildings are still there, but now you got, more cafes and more...
Yeah, and you also drive to Kingsport, to the south.
Mm-hmm.
That lovely seaside, cliff-based town. And you think to yourself, this wouldn't be a bad place to live either.
No, it's, about half hour up the road.
Down the road. It's south of Arkham.
Down the road. Sorry, I was still basing Arkham on Salem, my bad.
That's all good. I looked at a Lovecraft Country map recently, that shows all the different, mythos places, and, it's to the south of it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So, I need to make a roll now. A
Here we
50-50
go.
shot of whether or not Scott has his chance of getting back into academia.
God, I wish it was a 50-50 shot.
I could feel my own heart racing from this fucking decision, and I'm not even Scott. Here we go. So, before the 1 week period has ended, you get a call from Miskatonic's Human Resources, and the woman over the phone says,
Dr. Macallan.
Speaking, yes. Whoa.
Hi.
He's trying hard not to sound over...
Over what?
He's basically not trying to sound how thirsty he is.
That's okay. The woman on the phone says,
Well, Dr. Macallan, after the committee took a look at your resume, unfortunately, we cannot take you on at this time. There were some things in your background, some things that didn't properly match up, and even with Dr. Forrester's recommendation, it's the opinion of the committee that we cannot take you on. I'm very sorry.
Receiver, in Scott's hand, there's the threat of it cracking right now.
I rolled a 65 on that luck roll, by the way.
Fuck. No. No.
I
That's
realize
not how this works.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Dr. Macallan. I wish you well in any future endeavors for you. Maybe try again in another year or two.
Genuinely, in this state of absolute fury, and he's been cheated. This is so unfair. And he's
I want you to
wondering...
give me a sanity roll. For
absolutely.
helplessness.
In what he's thinking, and what he's thinking right now, well, he is going completely off his nut already, because he's wondering, he remembers what he read in that Diary of Horseback Jack. He's thinking about who's on the board and who could maybe, the scales and reconsider.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. The man is going to try and turn into the man. Okay. So...
Success, 27 under 42.
You're going to lose one, because you had your heart set on
Yeah.
this, and it's crushing. But it's taking helplessness.
Yeah, deep helplessness, but I think with that success, the thought does genuinely cross his mind, and this is a thought that no person should have.
Yeah, I'm going to just put it this way. Without realizing it, as the woman from the HR department is talking to you, and you're white-knuckling the phone, and it's starting to... You feel a crack on it. You hang it up. You don't even realize you hang it up, and...
I slam it down.
Oh, okay. You slam the phone down. This is impossible. Yeah, it was unconventional, but you know your stuff. You knew what you were talking about. You know that you were meant for this. But your mind drifts to these darker thoughts. Wasn't there something in that Horseback Jack book, you think? No. That's insane.
A long, steady breath. Goes to the bathroom, washes his face, and then just punches the mirror as hard as he can.
And we jump ahead now to August of 1989. Luckily, there's this period of time where the library is going to be undergoing renovations, but yet you will still get paid, Scott. You and Elena planning a vacation. Where would you want to go in the summer? I mean, New Mexico is already hot.
The desert is beautiful and all in its own way, but the coast, now that's,
South Carolina?
maybe Massachusetts is a little too cold.
Okay.
Even, the water's a little too cold even in the summer, but Delaware, Bethany Beach.
Yeah, they're decent. You fall more in love with this woman every day, despite whatever bullshit is in your head and despite you not getting into Miskatonic. I mean, she's still at your side. That's a loyal woman, if there ever was one.
Yeah.
And the two of you are sitting in chairs in the sand at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
With the cool breeze of the air just wafting through occasionally, the sound of the waves slapping against the shore. There's other people here. It's summertime. It's packed. It's busy. It's good to get away with the person that you love.
Mechanically, I need to do the thing. I need to remind myself what thing is that.
That's fulfill responsibilities.
Right. It's a sand. It's sand.
Yeah, roll a
right?
sand test. Uh-huh.
Oh boy, here we go. Success, 30 under 41.
Go ahead and roll a 1d6.
2. That's about right though. That's
Yeah.
actually that brings her up nearly to max.
Yeah, you improve your bond with Elena by 2. So that goes from
7 to 9.
7 to 9. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 under the maximum of 10.
Yeah, and she's sitting there with her legs stretched out in the sand, her feet kind of buried under. You guys are underneath an umbrella. She's got a big floppy hat on, sunglasses, wearing a red and white polka dotted bikini, reading a true crime novel. Without looking up at you, she says, I could get used to this. Why aren't we moving out east? Why aren't we moving to the beach, Scott?
Well, Elena, that one's on me, I will admit. There's a lot of things that are on me that you've had to deal with, and for that I am sorry. I really am.
It's okay. I know you had your heart set on getting back into higher education and getting into Miskatonic, and I would have moved with you.
I know.
And she closes her book, she marks her place with her finger, and she turns and looks to you. She just reaches out for your arm, just rubs your arm affectionately. They said you could try again in a year or two, right?
Yeah, they did. It just seems so far away now,
Yeah, I know. But, hey, think of this. We're getting paid to be on the beach right now.
Yeah. Back then, you were right about a lot of things, but especially with Roger.
Oh, I know. I'm a woman, Scott. I'm usually right about a lot of things. She kind of smiles at that. I'm glad to hear you admit it.
I think with that, he's actually going to kind of lean over and just kind of pull her in close and hold her fairly tight, just say, I need this, Elena. I need you.
I need you too.
I don't want to look. When she says that is, it's probably good that she isn't looking directly at his face when she says that. His expression is a good bit darker than what it should be right now.
Yeah. As you stare out at the sea at Bethany Beach, without moving your head, you're looking at the different beachgoers, teenagers, families, small kids running around into the surf, building sandcastles. A part of you realizes that, yeah, this might be possible, but it may also never be possible. Does your mind wander to what you could possibly do to help yourself get into academia, as bad as that could be?
Does. Briefly. But it's been something in the back of his mind since that day all those months ago.
Your mind goes on a track for a bit. If you assumed the form of one of the Miskatonic board members, but then you stop and you say, that's fucking crazy. This is the shit that we fight against.
Even so, it's what we fight against, but maybe that's just because the right person hasn't had that power yet. Maybe, just maybe, in the right hands, it could be something useful. A tool is only as evil as it's wielded, of course, and Scott knows that out of everyone on Earth, he is the most capable.